Hello, 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 and welcome to another edition of WTF. What the footy? Couple of Yanks shooting blanks about Australian rules football. This is episode 17 for June 29th. Did I get that right, Joe? June 29th, 2026. There is the somewhat retired sports writer for the Pittsburgh Tribune Review, Joe Rutter, wearing a halo right now.
As well I should, based on these great wins of the Carlton Blues.
We're going to get to that in a second. I'm hoping you do your countdown again so we can all do this. I'm Robert Gregory. A lot to go over on this episode. Before we do the victory song of the week, I'm going to give you like 30 seconds to crow about your Blues.
That is how many in a row now? One,
two, three, four, five. Let's have one more. Six wins in a row since Josh Frazier took over. Did you see the story? Yeah, look at that. Captain Cripps. Captain Cripps koozie. Say that 10 times fast. 6 in a row. Did you see the story, Joe, about caretaker coaches? Not interim. We call them interim over here, right?
Yeah.
Over there, it's caretaker, which actually I kind of like better. It's got a better ring to it.
I like it too. I heard that nobody has won more than 7 in a season.
And I think if I read it right, no one has won their first 6 until now. Until now.
Yep.
And now we're starting to see stories, more stories. Not just should he be considered in the Carlton coaching search, which I assume would happen at the end of all of this, no matter what happens.
Yeah.
Not just to be considered, but just say, give him the job. Which, if memory serves me right, I feel like we may have said that at one point on this show.
I believe we did, and he has done everything to show that he should be considered for the job. He has not lobbied for it, and a list did come out, I believe it was today, of people that are on the list that they are planning to contact to discuss the opening.
Yeah.
His name was not on it. I don't know if they felt the need not to put his name on it because they figure he's already there. We'll add him if we want to. But, yeah, it was conspicuous by his absence. Josh Frazier's name was not listed there.
And you know, maybe that's coming from him. I mean, I'm sure he's told the higher ups, listen, keep me out of this for now.
Yeah.
If anything, because we got a good thing going here.
They have a great thing.
They're 7-8 now. And this has been a little more than 30 seconds, so I apologize. They're 7-8 now. And I saw another story that said 12-11 might be enough to be a wild card spot this year.
Yeah.
They could go 5-3 in the last 8.
That's doable the way they're playing.
And they got winnable games.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk some more about them a little later on. But let's get to the victory song of the week. And a couple minutes ago, I asked Joe what it was. He told me what it was. And I said, is this the first repeat victory song of the week? And he said, no, Rob, we haven't played this one. And then I thought about the way their season has gone. And it's probably no surprise that we have yet to play this victory song. But Joe, tell us about it.
Well, it is our two-time champions, the Brisbane Lions. And, you know, as we've gone through these songs, we try to pick somebody that has an impressive win. We're trying to get everybody knocked out, all, 18 teams.
Right.
You know, we've got a few left that
we're fair and balanced
after a win. I'm sorry.
Yeah. We're fair and balanced.
Yeah, we're fair and balanced. We're trying to get them all in so we can hear every song and then make a determination maybe after the season or during the finals, which ones we like the best and the least. But we got Brisbane this week, and, they came out with the big win, really took it to Sydney. And
we're going to play a little game in a couple minutes. Basically, we're gonna go through the top 14 teams.
Mm-hmm.
And as the great Frank Verdecki would say, determine if they've got the basement to win it all.
Yeah.
But first,
Okay.
and I should also say this. So Joe told me Brisbane was going to be the victory song of the week. Again, given their up and down season, especially the first 10 weeks of the season, you kind of understand why we haven't played it yet. Joe also said that I would recognize the tune, and I replied because I am just so good at this game that it might as well be Jingle Bells that I'm guessing.
It's not Jingle Bells, but it probably goes back far. Well, I know it goes back farther than that. So
Oh,
let's see if you can pick it
old
up.
school. Okay, let's go. Let's do it.
We are the pride of Brisbane town. We wear the roll, blue and gold. We will always fight for victory, like Fitzroy and there's our home. All for one and one for all. We will answer to the call. Go Lions, Brisbane Lions, we'll kick the winning score. You'll hear a mighty roar.
Kind of suck it up to the crown, aren't they?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Are you
That's
familiar?
God Save the King, right? I mean, that's.
No, it's La Marseillaise.
Wait a minute. That's not what the crown uses.
Unless they use La Marseillaise, I don't know.
Oh, I didn't even know the name of it.
Da,
I may as well just Joe, Jingle Bells? Was it Jingle Bells?
It was not Jingle Bells.
That's a very waltzy victory song.
And I guess when you hear them sing it after the game, they zip through it so fast you don't recognize the beat. But yeah, because when I played it today, I listened. I was like, oh, this kind of isn't what I remember. But that's what it is.
126 to 83 over the supposed second best team on the ladder, the Sydney Swans. And I just don't know what to say now about Sydney.
Again, Sydney has not played, is a team that was one of the highest scoring in the league. Sydney has not lived up to that reputation. Giving up a ton of points lately. Brisbane beat them pretty. I mean, that game really, it wasn't in doubt at all.
Yeah.
Brisbane pretty much took it to them from the beginning.
That was the last game they wanted to be asleep for the first half.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of these games in the last 6 weeks, they've been asleep at the switch for a quarter, for a half. And they're good enough that in a lot of these games, they were able to rally. They were able to stack some dubs. But this is a Brisbane team that is clearly on the upside, right?
Yeah. And
Brisbane, they are the two-time premiers, and now they are not afraid to tell people.
Exactly. And Brisbane, they've had periods this year where they could go out, coast through a first half, turn it on in the second half, and win. Now, it's kind of bitten them at times, like their big loss when they give up 83 points to Greater Western in the third quarter. But when they're in this kind of game and they know what's at stake, they came out swinging. I mean, they did not ease into it, as Mike Tomlin likes to say. They went right for the jugular at the first bounce and just kept going. And Sydney couldn't match their intensity.
Where was the game, Joe?
I believe they played it at a place called the Gabba.
The Gabba. How much do you think that had to do with what happened?
I'm sure it had something to do with it. I mean, Brisbane always plays well at home. And
I know, but you're second on the ladder.
Oh, yeah.
You can't come out like that.
Yeah, I know. It's not Sydney doesn't have that as an excuse, but Sydney going into this, clearing away the number 2 best team, still is based on points. If I'm looking here,
well, clearing away.
Well, they're 6 points ahead of Hawthorn. They're
I know, but
12 ahead of Geelong.
I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting ahead of myself for the game we're going to play. And I don't want to do that because we got plenty to say about the top 14 teams, right? I mean,
yes, we do.
yeah, we got plenty to do that. In fact, let's get into the graphics package. What do you say?
Hey, I was going to say, as much as we like to talk about it, we probably should get rolling here.
Well, there we are, 88 days. So that's a little over 12 weeks away until the grand final. That makes sense. Last weekend of September.
Yep.
The grand final, September 26th. All right. This was a late addition to the graphics package because AFL.com.au did some math for us in the past 24 hours and listed from worst to best the strength of schedule of the rest of the teams for the last 8 weeks of the season. And if you noticed on that previous slide, I put vacations over because the buys are done.
Yep.
Right? The only buys now you have to earn. If you're top 6, you earn a buy, right? If you win that second week of the right, if you win that second week of the grand final, you get a buy. Either that or you're going golfing, right?
Yep.
So here's the remaining strength of schedule, and a couple things kind of jumped out at me. I think it's crazy that Essendon, they've lost what now? Is it 27 of 28 or 28 of 29? It's one of those. And we know what the one is, right?
Melbourne. Yes.
Thanks. Like you had to say it. Thanks, Joe. like we didn't prop up Carlton enough in the beginning of this show. Anyway. D's didn't lose this week, by the way. Just saying. And I went 5-2. I'm on a heater, buddy.
You are. 2 weeks, you're what, 12-2?
12-2.
That's heady stuff.
12-2. But now we get into the 9 picks, right?
Yeah. Where
that parlay is probably like what, about maybe $250 per one. But anyway, we'll talk about that anyway. I keep getting sidetracked.
And also, you got to point out your 2 losses were by a combined 6 points.
Yes, including one by my buddies at North. But anyway, yeah, we'll I won't forget about that. We'll get to that. Yeah. Look at this chart. Essendon with the toughest. Look who has the easiest.
Hawthorn. Yeah, that's.
I keep saying they're the Adelaide of this year, and I'll tell you what. I don't know what Adelaide's strength of schedule for the last third of the season was last year. Would not be surprised if it was a similar number to what we see here for the Hawks. I mean, they're in third in the ladder right now, and you said they're what, 2 games behind Sydney?
They are.
I think it's 2.
12 points behind Sydney.
3 games behind Sydney.
Oh no, I'm sorry, 6 points behind Sydney.
Oh, game and a half.
Yeah,
game and a half behind Sydney, and they've got the easiest remaining schedule.
Yeah, I would think they can make a strong push for 2.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Because I think barring injury, Freo is a freight train. And they may run the table. You know, their toughest game is Sydney in 2 weeks? And this is not the Sydney team that we thought it was going to be 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
They just might run roughshod over those guys. Anyway, look at North. North has won 8 games for what, the first time in 7 years? Did I read that one right?
North's sitting at 7th right now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put money on them being in the finals.
That's rough.
Their schedule's brutal.
Yeah, that's rough.
And it's going to be tough for them to keep getting stacking points here. And that bodes well for my Carlton Blues.
Well, I was going to say
they got the 5th toughest schedule.
Well, I was going to say your boys and my boys.
Yeah.
Tougher roads. Yep, tougher roads to hoe. Now, Melbourne being off this week and getting everybody back to level as far as the buys go, slipped down in that wild card area, but they're still 7th. They're still 7th and probably a better 7th than what they would have thought they were going to be in March.
Yeah.
Okay. So they have that they have that standing now that they got to keep a hold of. Carlton moves up 2 spots this week. I think improved their percentage, 4.5?
Yeah, they moved up pretty well. And I got to correct myself. I said North Melbourne, I think, was 7th. They're 9th I was
They're
factoring in. I forgot the 2
Yeah.
wild card games, but yeah,
Yeah.
they're actually 9th. Yeah.
Carlton, and we're 5-3 maybe to make the playoffs. Probably, I'm thinking more 6-2.
I would think so, and it depends who those wins are over.
Yeah.
And I think the one thing that bodes well for Carlton, the last game of the season is against Fremantle. Frio might just want to take it a little easy here, just to kind of get guys ready for the playoffs. If they've got
you're not
locked
kidding.
up, and Carlton might be able to take advantage there. Hopefully, it doesn't come down to that, but it could happen.
Collingwood, the 4th toughest schedule. So again, all the cards sort of being stacked against the Magpies. Greater Western's there at 9. But you look at all the contenders, the top 6 in the ladder right now, they're all on the right side of this graphic,
They pretty much are. And
as the easier schedules.
Along in Brisbane, you're in Adelaide, you're thinking, okay, this is setting up pretty well for us. St. Kilda, I still don't think they're still they're one game behind Carlton and Gold Coast for 11-12. But I don't see it for them.
They're hurting. I mean, and we can get into that when we get to the card. Let's go to the next one. This is our little game for this week.
Yeah, and I do want to point out, I don't know if you want to do this now or later at some point. I did look up right before we went on air.
Ooh.
I went back to this point of the 2025 season to see who, with 8 games left after 15 games played, was at the top of the ladder. Surprisingly to me, and I don't remember this, Collingwood was at the top with 52 points last year.
Ooh.
Followed by Brisbane with 42, Adelaide, Geelong, Hawthorn, and Freo all with 40. Now, I'm not sure what Adelaide did to that point, but from that point, won 8 in a row to finish the year with 72 points to win it all.
Yeah, I would love to see their strength of schedule.
Yeah, Hawthorn slid to 8th. Collingwood went 3-5 to slid to 4th. Brisbane hung around, so was 3rd. Geelong jumped up to 2nd, but then Greater Western Sydney jumped all the way up to 5th, and Gold Coast got 7th to get some of those wild cards or playoff spots.
So it seems like you're saying to me right now, don't carve the current ladder into stone.
I wouldn't do that, no. But it's very interesting what we have here with this remaining strength of schedule, and it'd be interesting to come back and look in a week or two and just see how this is it shaping up like we thought it would, or is it, taking a big turn?
Yeah, no. Good points all. Yeah, a very useful graphic. So now here's our game. Yes. Are these teams champagne damp or paper champ? And we're going to go through the top 14 teams and make determinations on where they're going. Let's go to the next one, please.
And yes, I like the poop emoji right there.
Well, that may be a little extreme, but I think when you go to the next slide and we explain the columns that we have set up around these teams, you'll understand where one is. The champagne flutes. They're the ones that think they've got the basement, they've got the stones. Poop emoji is like, no, I don't think so. And then the bottom one is one of those, I don't know, maybe. So our first team, of course, is the top of the ladder in Freo, and I don't think there's any doubt about this one. Winners of 14 in a row. Like I said earlier, they're a freight train right now. They're really a freight train right now, and I don't know that they can be stopped until the finals, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, I don't. I'd be surprised if they had. I mean, just the way that they have, just the way that they've come out and just beaten teams, and it wasn't even close this last game. They had it at home, didn't need Wharfie time. They were just comfortably ahead, and it was just bad. It was bad.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think it's safe to say we can put Freo in the champagne column. Next slide, please.
And there we see him.
Well, and this might be the quickest discussion of all of them. No, and no.
You're really down on him.
I really am.
I would be more in the shouldering category, but I can understand why you're willing to throw them to the far right, and I don't have that much of an issue with it. But yeah, Charlie Curnow is getting goals, but they're not really looking too impressive right now. Not too sold on Sydney.
Well, like I said, they keep falling asleep, and they have a major injury to deal with. I can't now. His name is escaping me, but he has a partially torn Achilles. Probably going to be out through the rest of the regular season and 2 weeks into the final. So
yeah, that hurts.
There's a lot. There's a lot going on there. Okay, here's my favorite team of the week because they just keep getting better and better and better. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, they do. I mean, Hawthorne's been very impressive, and as I said, sitting third in the ladder, and as we suggested by that schedule, they could find themselves in the top two. I don't know if they can. I don't think they'll catch Frio, but
I don't think that's going to happen either. But I'm with you. I think second is a definite possibility. That's for sure.
Yeah. And they get the home game in the first week of the final, or whenever they get to play.
Yeah, so. Yeah. All right, so we go to Geelong, and there's Hawthorne in the champagne flute column. I like Geelong. I'm like thumbs up on Geelong.
I do too.
I think they're another team. They may not be playing as well as like say Frio or Hawthorne, but they're consistent. I think they found consistency, and that's why I like the Cats right now.
They're 9-5, 36 points, sitting right now in fourth. They've had some ups and downs, but it seems when their backs are against the wall, they always find a way to get a win.
Yeah,
and they're a good second half of the season team. They've you go back 10 years or so, and they're always in it. So I would, I see no reason why they wouldn't be considered a contender this year at this point.
I'm totally with you on that one. Yeah, let's go to the next one. And these are lines that have awoken, I think. Especially, I think you described it perfectly earlier in the show, how they took Sydney to task this week. How, they had the home ground. They defended it from the first moment. And this is a team that seems to be getting better and better and better as the two-time premiers.
And this is when you want to get better. You want to get better at this point, heading in, the buys are done. You want to get ready.
Yeah, last third of the season already, Joe.
I know. How about that?
It's almost July.
It is. I don't want it to go so fast. I'm having fun with this season. I don't I'm sad about that.
Oh, well, don't be sad. We still got 88 days until the grand final.
True, that's.
Come on, don't be sad about this. And besides, it'll happen again next year.
It will. It will. Unlike Major League Baseball, which might have a work stoppage, at least we got Footy to watch next year.
I'll tell you what, you have to go watch our sister show, right? Yeah. Sports Talk on Our Time with Jerry DePaula and Frank Verdecchio. Check them out.
Of which we were guests the last week for their 1 year anniversary.
We were guests, and I rekindled my love for Fireball.
That's right.
I think I had 2 or 3 shots.
And sadly, we knew our audience and did not speak about footy at all.
We did not speak about footy, but I wore the hat. Yeah, okay, I stayed on brand.
Me too.
Koozie and Causey.
Yep, I couldn't bring Cripper out because I couldn't find him, but I got him.
No, but you had that awesome Footy Dad T-shirt on.
That's right, I did. Yeah,
which is fantastic. Adelaide. I go back and forth on this one. I think this is the first one we're gonna put in the
yeah.
Category
in the showdown loses to Port.
Well,
loses handily to Port.
How disappointing was that?
Oh, it has to be very disappointing. And if you're a Adelaide fan, and then Isaac Rankin got hurt too. I'm not sure how long that's going to be, but that weighs against them. And Adelaide's just so up and down this year. I haven't been able to figure them out too much. Yet they're 9-5.
I don't know how disappointed we can be because we have said ad nauseum about Port the last 3-4 weeks that they are the toughest luck side.
Yeah.
This year. So it's not like they lost to a bad team per se. But your top 6, that's got to count for something. It wasn't even a fight. in a rivalry game, no less.
Yeah, big
The
rivalry.
60th showdown.
Yep.
And Port just ran them all over the place.
It really did. It wasn't showtime in the showdown for Adelaide.
No, it was not. That is for sure. So I think we're going to throw Adelaide down below.
Yep,
Let's go to the next one.
Now you're
There's
done.
our D's, which, again, you can make the argument they don't belong in 7th. You know, you can make the argument that they're riding a wave of magic.
But
You
there
can
they
make
are.
the argument that they're going to come back down to earth because, after all, they do have the 5th toughest schedule, the last 8 games of the season. And I don't care about any of that. All right? Stephen King's done a great job. Max Gahn is playing beyond his years. Causey, although I think he needs to pick it up a little bit, maybe get a little bit more help.
Yeah.
He's been a force. With that said, though, there's no way you can put them in Champagne.
Yeah, I couldn't.
But you're not going to put them on the other side either. You're not going to put them there with Sydney.
They're down there with Adelaide, and
Yeah.
I think they're a hard team to figure out coming off the bye. I think they had that loss. How are they going to respond to that? This will be a big test for Melbourne this week, and so I would be in total agreement that we put them down there in the Alfred E. Newman "What Me Worry" category.
I like that. Here's our boys from Western, the Bulldogs. Yes. And we have been high on these guys lately. Got themselves through a rough injury patch and seemed to come out on the other side smelling well. So where do you put them?
I'm not sure I can put them over in the far left.
Yeah, I'm with you.
As good of a story they were at the beginning of the year, with their 5-5 in their last 10. Is that right? Yeah, they were 4-0. Then they've got 9 wins now. So 5-5. So they've been kind of
they lost 4 in a row, didn't they? Didn't they fall back to 500 before they kind of they kind of righted themselves.
Yeah, they regrouped. Kind of lost a couple weeks ago. We'll see. They're another team like Melbourne. I'm not sure what you're going to get. I think they're going to be in the top 10, but the way it's looking right now, I think they're going to be closer to 10 than the top 6.
And we're getting to the part of the ladder now where, a lot of these teams they're going to be the Alfred E. Newman column because they are where they are. Yeah. So let's put the Bulldogs down below. And then next slide, please. No, I'm just kidding. You can't, I want to dismiss the ruse. You can't dismiss the ruse. I got 8 wins now. They are really kind of ensconcing themselves at least into a wild card position. That strength of schedule is going to be an issue. But there are definite winning qualities about this team right now.
They've surprised so far. They've kind of held through it. I mean, the schedule weighs heavily against them. I can't recall where we put them, which is the beauty of doing this. But I wouldn't be surprised if they weren't under the poop emoji. But I could also see if they were put under the we're not quite sure yet category.
Well, go ahead and hit that next slide, and you'll see where they go.
There they go.
Because it's the schedule that kills me.
Yeah, it does.
It's the schedule that kills me for a team that is not, what do I want to say, is not tested. And I think that goes a long way. Yeah. Even given their success so far. I mean, tied with the toughest schedule for the rest of the year. Boy, that's a lot of hurdles.
It really is. And right now,
just to make a wild card spot.
I mean, right now they have 8 wins. Would you really be surprised if they finished with 9 or 10? I don't think anybody would be.
I don't think it would either, but I don't think that's going to be enough either.
No, definitely not.
That's not going to be enough for even number 10.
Yeah.
Like I said, I saw something written this week that thought that maybe 12 wins, 48, that'd be 48 points. Mm-hmm. 48 points gets you that last wild card spot. I'm not even so sure about that. I think you're safer at 52.
Oh, you're definitely a lot safer at 52.
But anyway, next one is Collingwood. And boy, this team just It's basically the fighting Nick Dacoses, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean that's him and not much else. And as I just mentioned earlier, that last year they were riding high at this point in the year, then kind of faded. They've got to hope to do a reverse this year and hope he carries them in. I mean, he's helped them to a couple impressive wins when we thought maybe they were kind of out of it, and now they're sitting there at number 10 with 30 points. I mean, they're going to need some other people to step up and help him out. But he surprised us by doing it all so far.
I will say this. I was down on the Pies a couple weeks ago. Still not really up on the Pies, but the fight that they've shown the last couple weeks does impress me a little bit, that they have been able to fight their way back into the top 10.
Yeah.
And because of that, I think they got to go down below.
I think so too.
They got to be one of those. We'll see.
As they are.
Well, here's one that, again, this is going to be a short discussion. What was it? 88-29? 29 points this week? Let me go.
One goal, or no, wait a minute.
That graphic.
3 goals
80.
for the game. 3 goals, 11 behinds for the game. 28 points at the half. Or no, I'm sorry, 11 at the half.
11 at the half.
It was
11.
2.
11 points.
Yes.
In 40 minutes of play.
Yep. And they were down 28-2 after the first 20 minutes for a team that desperately needed a win.
Not that we've been doing it this long, but the collapse of this team is incredible.
It really is. Everybody thought they were going to be the darlings this year and take that jump from 7th last year and winning a playoff or a finals game to, being in the top 4. And they started out strong. I mean, they were the top team after 2-3 weeks, and boy, they've just plummeted. And
Petrarca, no goals.
Yeah.
No goals. So now that's 6 goals in 7 weeks.
Jeez. Which isn't surprising when your team, as a team, you get 3.
Yeah. And I can't remember who it was, had 2 of them.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember either. But yeah, I have a feeling, I think we know where we're going to stick these guys.
Yeah.
Rightfully to the right.
I was going to say that one's a pretty easy one. And now we come to your boys.
The Blues.
The Baggers. Who can't be stopped, and they've got another great opportunity this week to get another 4 against Richmond.
And I don't know what the point spread is off the top of my head, but I learned last week I should probably pick them to cover. They won by 53. I didn't think they'd win by nearly as much. I thought West Coast would stay in it longer. And I actually had 2 separate little bets with West Coast and the points. Didn't cash either of those, which is what I probably get for betting against my guys. I mean, I thought my boys would win, but
they
needed that kind of win to get their percentage up. Which is what they're going to need in any tiebreak.
4.5 points. I mean, 4.5 points at this point of the season.
Yeah, that's hard.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, and
they got to get to that even point, right? I mean, we're talking about wild card playoff spot, but I mean, as far as the percentage goes, it's got to get around 100 at least.
Yeah, they've got to get to that point, and they're working their way up there. And with a big win over, they beat Richmond by a lot. They've got a chance to do that. And again, he doesn't get enough credit. He was getting a lot of blame when they were 1-8. The Captain Cripps, has really been leading the way for them.
Yeah,
and a lot of unsung people, a lot of guys. Young Harry Dean on the back end is getting a lot of rising star consideration. They've got guys through the middle. They've got Taylor Byrne, who they called up a few weeks ago, who's popping in goals. They're just really relying on a lot of people. George Hewitt playing very well after a guy who was banished by Michael Voss down to the VFL for a few weeks. Veteran player, he's come back and really looked good. I mean, they're just they're getting contributions from so many people, and I'm having a blast watching them. And I hope it continues.
I hope so. I hope you're having fun, because there's an entire fan base that's having fun with you. 7-8 now. They were 1-8. 7-8.
7-8 now. The only
95.6
yeah.
is their percentage.
The only drawback to their win was it was pretty much decided by the end of the third quarter. And it was so late over here. I think it was 2 a.m. by then. I couldn't make it for the fourth quarter when they really powered it on. At some point, I'll catch it on DVR because they powered it up to a 53-point win. But
Joe, it's a bigger crime you bet against them, I think.
I think so too.
That's a bigger crime here.
Listen,
95.6. The line is 36.5.
Yeah. I would.
But if they can get another 50-point win, they're right there.
Yeah.
They're right there with even, right? I mean,
they should be.
Still, best story of the year.
And again, you saw with the second week of the year, they got their only win in that first 9 games against Richmond, hung on, barely won that. So
yeah,
don't take it for granted. They need to go out and set the tone early like they have done, and then pull away like they did last week.
I would think that is one of the tenets of Josh Frazier's tenure so far, is to not take things for granted.
Yeah,
because they've got 7 games at the front of this season where they took the first 3 quarters for granted.
Yep.
And it bit them almost every single time.
Yeah.
And now you're seeing a team that is keeping its foot on the gas.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful to see.
They would very much be on the far left there if they had won a couple of those games, but we know where we got to put them.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? We're probably being generous putting them there. But again, best story of the year. I mean, by far, this is the best story. As long as they keep winning.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And there's really no reason why that number shouldn't be 7 when we come to you next week.
Yeah.
Right?
It should be a 7th straight win for sure.
Sure, they should be a 500 and maybe have that percentage around 100, which would be just. I think that's actually more incredible. Well, no, it's not more incredible than 7 wins in a row. But getting your percentage back up there, again, this late in the season, you're basically doing what you're supposed to do against the teams you're playing, right?
Yeah. And as long as you keep winning, that percentage is going to only go up. So.
Yeah, I mean, West Coast, Richmond, you kick their heads in because that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
It matters. Blowouts matter. You've got to take that into account. Blowouts matters. Nothing about poor sportsmanship or any of that stuff. It's a tiebreaker. So you got to do it. So you get a chance to kick somebody's face in, you do it.
You do.
Say Kia ora.
Which looking at the logo, I guess I never noticed this before, but I'd like to start referring them as Saint Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Well, right now they're done.
I was going to say right now
they're extra crispy, Joe.
They're playing like Colonel Sanders lately.
Ooh.
Yeah, they haven't been playing well. I did see where TDK got out of the hospital.
TDK out of the hospital and out for at least a month. I don't understand. I mean, you punctured a lung and broke 2 ribs. I mean, you still think you might be back for the back half of the end of the season? Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, take all the time you need and get ready for next year. I don't think this team's going anywhere anyhow.
What's the forward's name? Jack Springer? He's the one that's going to miss the rest of the regular season with a high calf strain or something like that. Nasai is getting fined because he's frustrated giving the bird because, again, he's not getting much help. And this is a team that is, they are not trending up.
No, they're not. I mean, they got 20. Among the, they're sitting 13th right now. I just don't see it. I don't see any way that they make a move.
Yeah, I don't either. So they're going to go into the appropriate column, as you can see. Greater Western. I almost think that quarter against Brisbane was an anomaly.
Oh yeah,
that was like a dozen Mercuries in retrograde when that quarter happened.
Yeah,
and the horn sounds, and both teams are just going like, "Wow, what happened?" Because ever since, the Giants just haven't shown anything.
They really haven't, and it's they've which we'll get into a little bit later here, but they've got some more injuries and
yeah,
just they're not they're not looking good. And, as well as they did last year, getting into the playoff spot, as we talked about, after being on the outside looking in at this stage last year, I see them fading. I just see them fading toward the bottom and playing for draft positioning.
Yeah. And, I shouldn't be so rough on them because their injury list is starting to rival Essendon's at this point. And the only difference is, it's happening later in the season than what happened with the Bombers. I mean, those injuries pretty much decimated. I mean, pretty much took care of any kind of dream they had this year of being a contender. At least Greater Western got some licks in first.
Yeah.
But now their MASH unit is almost one of the biggest in the league. And I mean, I don't care how good you are. Really, really hard to get over that hump. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's a lot of bodies to be pulling up from the minors.
Oh. All right, the next one is just the rest. We have to mention the rest, right? There's Port. Hey, good on Port.
Yeah, good on Port. I imagine Port, would have a chance. They're what, 15th, 16th, 15th? I would imagine they can get up to maybe 12 if they have a nice end of the stretch. It's a shame they had those early losses by so few points. Otherwise, they'd be in contention.
Yeah. Then, got my Eagles, who may or may not sit at 16. Richmond 17. Essendon hung with North this week. Right?
Yeah.
They got 7 guys back. And I think you have to allow a week for rust. I don't think they're the wooden spoon this year.
Ooh, that's pretty heavy.
Even with the toughest schedule. I think they can get 1, maybe 2 out of those last 6.
Do they have Richmond left? That's what.
Yeah.
If they have Richmond, then they got a shot maybe. But it's tough, and they waited too long to start mounting their comeback. I mean, they helped ruin your.
They
parlay.
did. They did, much in the same way that the first North Essendon game ruined the parlay. Exactly. So I probably should have seen that one coming. I probably should have taken that into account, but what are you going to do?
That was the one that only cost you by what, 1.5 points?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and then what? The other one was 5, I think is what you said?
Yeah. 4.5 or 1.5, I think.
Yeah. I guess I'll live. Next slide, please. Let's go to Stockwatch. What has now become what I know we like Stockwatch, don't we? We could just take shots here at Stockwatch. 3 down, 3 up. Let's go to that first one. And again, I'm having a little bit of guilt right now because a lot of this isn't their fault, but I mean some of it is.
Yeah, I mean,
GWS, but Greater Western's our first kind of.
Yeah, we kind of hinted at it a little while ago. They already had 15 guys on the injury list. They had 2 more players get hurt. I was
going to say that was before this weekend, right? And so that was before this weekend. So
so now they got 17. They just they're beat up pretty bad, and I just they're definitely stock down material. I don't see them rising up at all this year.
Yeah, and given that just short 3 weeks ago, we were talking about them as a wild card team, and maybe winning a wild card game and getting to that top 8, and now all of a sudden, they're just struggling to keep their head above the water at this point.
They really are.
Okay. All right, the next slide, please.
Oh, Dean Cox, the coach of Sydney.
I'm going to let you take over on this one.
Well, I think we had Gold Coast on before.
Yeah.
You know what? I made a mistake. I gave you bad info. Dean Cox is the coach of Gold Coast, not Sydney.
Oh no!
Yes, I gave you bad info. Because it occurred to me when I looked and saw the pretty shirt there that that's Gold Coast colors.
Oh no, typos.
Yeah. Dean Cox, the reason he made the list is we buried Gold Coast, I believe it was a week or so ago.
Yeah.
I didn't want to pick the whole team again. When you get your team prepared so ill prepared to the point where they get outscored 28-2 in the first quarter, get one goal or 28-2, have 11 points at halftime, and get only 3 goals
Ridiculous.
for the game, and just get trounced. I mean,
Embarrassing.
Yeah, it is embarrassing, especially for a team that had so much promise coming into the season. So, Dane, you probably wish you were at Sydney, but yeah.
I don't know. I almost think you could put like Dean Cox / Sydney.
Well, true. Unless I screwed up and I did put the Sydney coach in there, I'm still feeling my way around knowing these coaches don't have my phone handy to kind of look at it to see who Dean Cox coaches. But and then the fans. You never like to rip on the fans.
Well, you know what? I changed this in the 11th hour. Because like everything, it's not like a huge group. It's just that minority that won't shut up.
Yeah.
Okay? So these few footy fans that are complaining because the league came out right after we recorded last week that said that they weren't going to schedule the last 2 weeks of the season until after the results of week 20. And there was an uproar about, our travel plans and how are we supposed to get flights and this, that, and the other thing. And wah, 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 wah. And then I saw more tweets this weekend about overlapping games. And I'm just like, what is wrong with you people? They're giving you 4 days of footy a week. They're doing everything in their power to make you happy, and it's just not possible with some of you. And
they're trying their best. Yeah, they have a little bit of overlap. You're going to have that. You're not going to have all 9 games in a window, that's set up like that, unless you have a Thursday night doubleheader, which they clearly don't want to do. And they're trying to limit the number of Friday doubleheaders. Yeah, you're going to have a little bit of overlap, but enjoy what you got. And the fact they're waiting so long should be a good thing because they're trying to get the best matchups for the people that can't go to the games to watch on television to boost those kind of ratings, to help the league out, maybe get some more money in the coffers. I think it's a bunch of griping about nothing, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, the one overlap, if I'm not mistaken, was Frio Gold Coast. Be thankful you had another game to go to.
Yeah.
Go to North and Essendon. Be thankful.
Okay, now I have to go and I have to apologize to Dean Cox because I did look it up. He is the coach of Sydney. So he still deserves a spot on the list, though, because Sydney was supposed to be running wild. And, they were in the second spot, but then came out and lost to Brisbane pretty handily. So, Dean Cox, you're going to stay there. I got your team wrong. I apologize.
I think we've got some insider trading going on in this stock watch.
Do better, Dean. I don't know who Frio's coach is. Gold
Stock
Coast
watch.
coach.
Yeah, stock watch has run amok, I think.
Yeah, can't count on that guy's putting it together. Yeah. Meanwhile, Damien Hardwick. How did I not know Damien Hardwick? I should have known that. I did know the fact he was a coach of Gold Coast because he took so much heat in the last few games. So apologies to Damien and Dean. But hey, you both deserve to be on the list.
I was just going to say, I don't know how much you want to apologize. I think, if there were a 4th spot on Stock Watch, you could put both of them in there.
I probably should have. Let's move on to the positives.
Okay.
Cam Rayner for Brisbane. And again, not because he's one of my wife's 2 favorite players that plays for Brisbane.
I think that's exactly why he's there. But anyway, go on.
He scored 3 goals, career season high. In the big win against Sydney, kind of set the tone right away. Was just all over the place. Had a great game, and Brisbane they got a lot of contributions from a lot of people. But to me, the way he played kind of stood out.
Great win.
Yeah, great win. Made the highlights. He was my pick for Brisbane to kind of get the spotlight here, and as you have him with a nice fist bump celebrating, he just symbolized that win and. He's a tough young player, and I think we're going to see him celebrating a lot more this season.
Schedule makers. Another banger to start the week.
Yep.
Brisbane, Sydney. Now, the margin of victory was maybe a little more than what people would have expected. But, I mean, again, I don't think there was any question that was the match of the week going in.
Oh, it definitely was. And on number 2, Nick Dacos from Collingwood, as we mentioned earlier, kind of Mr. Do-It-All, does everything for them.
He's going to win the Brownlow.
Oh, he has to.
Right? I mean, he's running away with it in the coaches rankings every week. They came out with the first Brownlow predictor, the league did, earlier today, and he was a runaway first for the Brownlow. He leads in disposals. He took the lead this week in scoring involvement. And like you said, he's about all they got.
Yeah, he's keeping him in it. They've had so many injuries. A great player. We kind of got on Collingwood earlier in the season for kind of dancing around and taking it easy.
Yeah.
With Pendlebury he was going for the record. Their lack of points might hurt them in the playoff seedings, but he's trying his best to keep him in it, and he's deserving. He doesn't get enough accolades as far as I'm concerned.
No, I think you're right. All right, so the next slide, we're gonna go back a couple weeks.
Oh, yes.
In fact, this was the first WTF What the Footy Stock Watch.
Yep.
We weren't sure how this was going to go, and it was. I don't want to say an experiment, but it was the first time we did this, and turns out it was great. I thought it was fantastic. Great idea by Joe Rutter, almost retired sports writer for the Pittsburgh Tribune Review. But this was 2 weeks ago. Okay, Port Adelaide bad, Adelaide good, right? 2 weeks later, and look what we've got.
We've got Port Adelaide.
Hey, the power.
Yes.
And yes, they deserve it.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely deserve it.
It was a big upset in the showdown. A lot of people weren't expecting that. Kind of made you question what you got now from Adelaide. And Port, again, the previous week were beaten pretty handily.
Yeah.
Now they come back and they win because they had all those close losses. You thought, okay, well, they're going to be in these games. Well, 2 weeks ago they weren't. This last week, they just came right out and took it to Adelaide and pulled off one of the stunning upsets in this, what you said, 60-year history of the showdown.
Yeah.
And when you do something like that, and you're on the outside looking into the playoffs, sitting at, what did we say, 15th, you deserve to get to the top of the stock watch.
15th, and their percentage is around 101. I mean, and 26, not just a win over their rival and a top 6 squad, by the way. 26-point win.
Yep.
I mean, this is a beating. This is a beating. And Adelaide, they came out and said, look, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing, and we can't do this the last 8 weeks of the season. Can't happen.
And they have talented players. Mitch Georgiadis, Zach Butters. I mean, they're,
Zach Butters, it's a contract year for him, right?
It definitely is. And
yeah.
One of my
I don't know anybody. I think the list is small. The list is short.
Yeah.
Of people that have taken advantage of their last contract year the way he has.
Yeah.
$50,000 in fines or whatever. I mean, he is playing some really good footy right now. He's got everybody's attention on a team that's 15th.
Yeah, and the one of my pet peeves is the lack of a tampering rule, where all these teams have already come out and said they're making offers for him, and they've already got him, I think, pegged to Collingwood, maybe, or somebody else looked like the
Wild West
somewhere else, and I think Collingwood came on and said they'd give him a ridiculous contract. So I just don't.
It's the Wild West, Joe.
It is the Wild West. I just think it takes away from the spirit of the competition, and that stuff should all be tabled till the end of the year. But
we don't have enough to worry about right now.
That's right.
So good for Port. Good for Port. Top of our stock watch this week. Real quick, the results. We talked about Brisbane. There's Hawthorn for their victory over Greater Western. There's your baggers. 4 more points to the good. 4 more points to the good. Collingwood wins. Port with the win. North gets their 8th win. And that Freo Suns, whatever it was. I don't even know if that was really footy, to be honest with you. That was somebody's fever dream. Geelong, Melbourne, St. Kilda, and Western were off this week. And those are the last buys. Like I said, vacation's over, folks. We are now pedal to the metal for the last 8 weeks of the season. Starting with the round 17 fixture. Thursday night footy. Another banger. Look at this. Geelong, Brisbane. And the Cats giving 14.5.
That's a little surprising. I mean, we got a rematch.
I don't know if you recall, but when I sent you the draft yesterday, it was 12.5.
Wow, and it's gone up.
Yeah. I don't understand that one.
Especially in a rematch of the Geelong is home. It's a rematch of the grand final last year. Boy, I mean, Geelong's playing well, but Brisbane's got a lot to play for now, to get back in there and try to get in that top four.
Yeah.
I
think everybody in the green has got a lot to play for.
Yeah, I think so too.
That's both of these teams. But I mean, 14.5. Ooh.
It's a lot. It is. It's more than 2 goals. So I'd be tempted to take Brisbane.
4 games on Friday. Sydney, 19.5-point favorites against Western. And this is another line that went up by 2 points.
That's a little strange considering the way Sydney played and Western.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. I feel like they still think that this is Sydney of the first 4 weeks. And it's not. They're not the same team.
No, they're not.
Now, who's to say they don't snap out of it against Western? They very well could, and I totally see where Sydney can win by 3 goals. But this line to me is surprising.
Yeah, I can see that too. It's just the Western coming off the bye, they're getting a little healthier. I'm sure Marcus Bontempelli needed the extra time off. He got it.
Yeah, I'm sure he used it wisely.
Yes,
because they've got their own charge to make.
Yep, they do.
They've gotten through the wilderness, and I think they can see the playoffs at the end of the tunnel.
And they got their players back, and unlike last year, they don't want to be 1 game out and lose on a tiebreaker.
West Coast, a 29.5-point dog to Adelaide. That's probably right?
Yeah.
Yeah. My D's. Oh. You want to talk about the wrong time to run into Hawthorn.
And to have to go to Tasmania, where it's supposedly going to be cold.
That's right. They're going to U of Tassie to play this game. This is one of Hawthorn's $1 million games.
Yeah. And I saw somebody describe it as sending Melbourne to the Arctic to play this game.
I don't know if it's that bad.
I don't think so. Bailey Fritsch better have his sleeves, is all I know.
You're exactly right on that. 19.5.
That's a lot of points.
Yeah, it is.
But Hawthorn seems to do well down there. The site of the next game is interesting to me. Where is Corroboree?
Corroboree, I believe, is in Canberra. So this is the Corroboree Group Oval, which I could not fit in there. So I just said Corroboree.
Now, is that that's what the Northern Territory? Is that the?
I think that's what it is.
The games they play up there.
Yeah. Freo and Greater Western, and you see Freo is a 20.5-point favorite. And honestly, I don't know that that's enough.
I don't know if it is either, but I'd be curious to see what it looks like in this little oval.
Yeah. Just given the injuries of the Giants and just the way that, I got to come up with I need a synonym for freight train. But the Freo freight train to me is the best way to describe what they are right now, because they just, they're just, 29 points, Gold Coast. Some of that's on you, but you know what? Some of that is on Freo.
Yeah.
14 in a row.
And speaking of Gold Coast, favored against Collingwood.
Favored against the Pies. I don't know how you don't jump all over the Pies on this one.
I would think you do. Especially a team.
Unless they are that ticked off. Is this a game where Petrarca finally finds some space and goes off 5, 6, 7 goals?
I guess they haven't lately. I don't know how many.
No, they haven't.
But
there's your Blues against Richmond Saturday night, 5:35. Good time for you to get up and watch the Baggers. I would think.
On July 4th, nonetheless.
On July 4th, what a way to start America 250 for you. 36.5. What was the line last week that scared you?
31.5, and then it jumped to 34.5.
Yeah.
but I like the 36.5 here. I think Carlton's going to cover not easily, but I think Carlton covers.
This game, they got to kick him in the face.
Yep.
They have to.
Yeah.
They have to. Bombers, 29.5-point dogs against St. Kilda. I think that's a tough one.
That is a tough one. I would still think that Essendon, especially being at home, getting guys back, would be more competitive.
I wonder if we're going to find out later this week if they get more people back.
Yeah.
Because they had 15, 16.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're only talking about half of them back. Be interesting to see what that line does, I think.
Yeah, that's a watch for sure.
Port and North finish off the weekend. Port is a 16.5-point favorite.
Boy, no love to the
Roos, huh?
Yeah, no love for the Roos.
Ladder showed a lot of movement.
Yes.
This past week as we get through the buys. Look at that big jump by Brisbane. They're back, I think.
Brisbane definitely back.
I think they are, right? I think they are. From 8 to 5. Some movement in the wild cards. You get Collingwood hopping back up into there. Gold Coast. They probably should have dropped more than 2, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And your Blues.
Yep.
Your Blues are only they're a half game out of the wild card.
Unbelievable. Who would have thought that?
Nobody.
And
maybe, I don't know. What do you think Josh Frazier thinks the day after he's given caretaker status? Does he look at the schedule and go, yeah, we can run off 6 in a row. We could do this. We could run off 7 in a row and get back to 500, and then we start talking about the future. I mean, is that really part of the conversation back then? 2 months ago?
It wasn't, especially when Geelong was one of those teams they had to beat. And
yeah.
I mean, they've had a favorable draw for the most part, but yeah, they had to get past Western. They had to get past Geelong.
Yeah. They don't have that favorable draw for the last 8 weeks. That's for sure.
No, they do not. So
it's the toughest schedule.
And they get their 4 points. Maybe I don't know what Gold Coast does, but maybe they can leave Collingwood and put themselves in position.
We did those schedule graphics last week, and you thought 4 out of 5 was plausible.
Yeah, and it could be, but you got to win this one. You really have to win this one.
Yeah, you got to win this one. All right, let's go to the next slide. This is the last slide, I believe, and there he is.
Yep.
Nick Dacos up to 93 in the coaches poll. Yeah, no real changes,
except for
you got a lot of guys that were idle.
Yeah,
so there was a little bit of jumping in the standings to get everybody back to level, right?
My guy Patrick Cripps took a big jump.
I think he was what, 9? I think he got 9 out of 10.
Yeah,
I think this week.
Yeah, so
I think Butters was 10 for 10.
Mm-hmm.
Think he got all 10 this week. Yeah.
Then you look at the goals, and Jeremy Cameron's still there. Ben Campbell, Charlie Curnow, he's scoring goals, but they're not winning. Nick Watson, they're celebrating he had 100. Human highlight reel for Hawthorn.
The Wizard, isn't he the Wizard? Yeah.
Yes, he is the Wizard.
He's the Wizard,
and a little guy too, which I'm starting to learn more about him. He seems like a fun guy to watch.
I swear to God, at some point, I'm going to learn how to spell disposals. I think that's 2 weeks in a row.
Did not catch that.
2 weeks in a row. Dacos continues to lead in disposals.
Disposals. Yeah.
Disposals. Hey, we're a family business here.
Yes, we are.
Leave me alone. 12-2 last 2 weeks, so and there we were talking about the score involvements. Dacos now leading in score involvements. Showtime, do you have any final thoughts?
I would say the only final thought I have is, this is our Independence Day coming up July 4th. In baseball, they would, former Pirate manager Jim Leland would always say, pennant races, the season doesn't really get heated up till July 4th. And, I feel that way kind of in footy. We're hitting the last third of the season. This is the time to watch. It's exciting. My interest in the sport has grown so much in the past year where I don't remember too much about the playoff chase last year. I was just more concerned about Carlton's woes. I know so much more about the league, so I'm excited to see how this all plays out from our national holiday till about the beginning of August when the finals begin.
Yeah, I'll pick it back up on that too with talking about the D's and how it is trying to make this as much of a blessing as I can, their success so far this season. And I know there may be some bumps in the road going forward, but if we can even if they're playing that first week in the wild card round, I don't think there would be any D supporter that would be disappointed in that. Playing bonus footy, come September. That's the dream of every team on the ladder. It's the dream of Tatsy coming in a couple years. It's the dream of teams that had their season shot by injury early on, like Essendon. So you're right, though. 8 weeks is gonna. I think 8 weeks is gonna feel like 8 days.
It's gonna go
the way this is going.
Yeah,
and it's just a really exciting time, and I'm glad we could do this. I'm glad we could do this year because I just feel like my senses are really heightened now when it comes to footy.
Yeah, I agree, and it's been a blast doing this, and I can't believe we're 2/3 of the way through this season. We've just got to get enough content to keep going beyond the grand final.
That's our show for this week. You can catch us on all the socials. If you're watching us, you're probably watching us on YouTube at WTF What the Footy. We are on Twitter X at WTF What the Footy, where you can get my picks every week. Although you may be too late. There may be an 0-9 in my future for all I know. Joe, are you posting your picks yet?
I have not been. I probably should.
Okay.
I don't do 0-9. I just do like 4 or 5.
You're actually the more discerning degenerate of the two of us.
Yeah,
as far as what you pick. But anyway, you can find us on Twitter X at WTF What the Footy, Apple Podcasts and Spotify at WTF What the Footy, Facebook, don't forget Facebook at WTF What the Footy, and Instagram. We are posting on Instagram.
We are posting on Instagram. We have clips every week. Little clips.
Exciting stuff at WTF What the Footy. So go look at those and give us some likes and give us some love if you can. For Joe Rutter, I'm Robert Gregory. We'll see you next time.
Showtime.
Gee, only an hour 7 that time.
Yeah, we cut it down. But
we continue our running
right into the meat of the graphics.
Our running theme, yeah. I really wanted to try and get this around 50 today too.
Yeah.
I figured, okay, we don't talk about anything at the beginning.
Yeah.
We start into the graphics, we get going.
Oh well.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Say goodbye, Joe.
Goodbye.